PFT Live. The Minnesota Vikings finished the 2024 season with a record of 14-3, and yes, they lost again for the second time in 3 years in the wild card round of the playoffs. But right after the season ended, they had to get to work on Kevin O'Connell's contract because it was clear that something was going on, that something wasn't right, and that he was tempted to say, I'll just finish my contract and become a free agent next year. So they got his done. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, the GM, who came in at the same time with O'Connell, whose contract lasted the same duration. He had to wait a little bit longer because there wasn't that same urgency. There wasn't a sense that someone was interested in Adofo-Mensah if he would say, I'm going to become a free agent. So he had to wait. He gets his deal. And just like with Nick Sirianni, the Eagles, Chris, all we know is it's a multi-year extension. That's all they ever say. So maybe he's under contract for 3 years. Maybe he's under contract longer than that because if it's a multi-year extension and if he's under contract for 1 year, 1 + 2 is 3. That's the limit of my mathematical skills, and that is the limit of our knowledge about Adofo-Mensah. But it keeps them together. It keeps them moving in the right direction. They've had 2 great regular seasons. The next step, obviously, wins some games in the playoffs.
That's right. But they got things going in the right direction, and I'm glad to see this get done. I mean, they got a little special thing going there right now. It is going in the right direction. Yeah, they need to win games in the playoffs, and that's the next thing there. But damn, I mean, how can you not be impressed with what Kwesi has done there? The team itself, the roster, the moves they make, I mean, all of that. They're damn good last year, 14-3, improved their roster, and they really look better this year. He made the proper hire in Kevin O'Connell to bring in Flores, whether it's him and Kevin O'Connell working together to do that. I mean, it's been one good thing after another. They got off the Kirk Cousins train right at the right time and said, see you later. We're not doing that. So I'm glad to see the ownership, the organization, all of that, know what they got here. You got a special combination of people here. Keep it together and see what you can do. I know it's been 3 years. We haven't got the playoff wins yet, but damn, everything looks like it's going in the right direction, and we know that's not necessarily easy just to win playoff games every year. So hopefully they're going to do that this year, but they're real close, and I think they got something special working up there in Minnesota.
I am still reminded of some of the information I was gathering back in March when we didn't know what they were going to do with Sam Darnold. We didn't know what they were going to do with Daniel Jones. We didn't know whether or not they were interested in Aaron Rodgers. And the feedback I had gotten from multiple people who were dealing with the Vikings at the time is they can't tell who's in charge. And hopefully through these 2 new contracts, there will be a clear delineation of who's calling the shots. This is one of those teams where ownership isn't in the building on a regular basis. Who's really in charge? And I've had the argument made, and I don't know that I believe this, but there are people who do. The idea that the Vikings are kind of low-key dysfunctional, and with O'Connell and Adofo-Mensah, they've managed to mask some of that. That's TBD, but, you know, one of my big criticisms of the Vikings over the years, of the Wilfs specifically as owners of the team, just good enough is just good enough, and I never sense there's that push, we are going for it. It's more like we just want to tread water, and one of these years we'll swim. But treading water is good for business. Getting to the playoffs every other year, winning a playoff game every 5 years, that's good for business because we're always relevant. There's something that's keeping them from thriving. I got spoiled by the 70s. They're nothing close to that.
No, they're not. They're not.
They've been to the NFC Championship 6 times since they went to 4 Super Bowls in, 7 years?
But I think they're laying the groundwork. And I think that's what's good there is, I hear what you're saying about the Wilf family and all of that too. But I think what you could feel good as long as you don't abandon ship and jump on the bandwagon of the Eagles here is that you got, 3 guys that we just talked about, O'Connell, Adofo-Mensah, and Flores, that are all in. Like they're not going to be content with, oh, we're just relevant, right? That's what's going to be good about Minnesota. Is I think you're going to have a group here that's going to push ownership, push the front office a little bit, and be like, hey, we need to get this done. And I think you're seeing a little bit of that. Some of the moves you're making in free agency, the fact that you flirt with Aaron Rodgers a little bit. I think those are all things of Kwesi, Kevin O'Connell kind of just pushing their willpower on the organization because they want to win a Super Bowl. I know those two well enough to know they're psychos in a good way and want to win. That's for sure, and I think that's a positive thing for Minnesota to build on here.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers is waiting to see what the Vikings' final assessment
I still have people
McCarthy
asking
after
me.
the offseason program is?
I know.
At this point, like, when's he get, like, he's already missed a week of OTAs. The Steelers have 3 OTAs this week. They have mandatory minicamp next week. Is there any harm at this point in waiting until the Vikings have a chance after they get some distance from the offseason program, they study the film, they reflect, they think, and then they make a final decision? Are they going to training camp with Aaron Rodgers or J.J. McCarthy? I don't know. I remember saying back in late April, early May, at this point, just wait for the schedule to come out so they can't screw you with a bunch of short week and primetime games if you sign with the Steelers. Now I'm thinking with 2 weeks left in the offseason program, why not let it ride? Because there's a chance the Vikings say, you know what, we like McCarthy, but what's one more year if we can get Aaron Rodgers and try to go for the brass ring?
I hear you. All that's logical. It definitely is. I mean, I am with you in the fact that if you've missed this much, just miss it all. Who the hell cares now? If you want to live yourself just one little more glimmering hope with the Minnesota Vikings and your Aaron Rodgers. But this is one here where there's too many eyes and telescopes and microscopes on the quarterback situation in Minnesota. And I feel like it's one where, and I think you probably feel the same way here after I say this, where if he was struggling and it was to that point, and it was like, oh, man, things aren't smooth, and we would hear about it. I feel like two guys like us would hear about it, let alone the players wouldn't be able to help themselves, and they would say things to other people behind the scenes and maybe to a beat reporter and all of that. And I don't get that inclination out of Minnesota right now, so we'll see where that goes.
Well, they still have some more time left in the offseason program. But you're right. It feels like they're doing everything they can to prop up J.J. McCarthy. They have made the organizational, institutional decision that he's the guy. But from Rodgers' standpoint, it's not done until it's done.
That's
Remember,
right.
He didn't Favre didn't show up in Minnesota until the middle of August in 2009, and it almost worked out incredibly well. It worked out well. Not incredibly well. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.